What is the average time to create a new habit?
I think relationships for me is the most important bit.
You
Okay.
cannot be wealthy without being healthy.
Welcome you to today's special Legacy by Design session, an inspiring hour where we grow not just as professionals, but as whole individuals. At IT by Design, we believe growth goes beyond learning new skills. It's about shaping the right mindset, discovering a deeper purpose, and building some meaningful connections that last. Today's session, Living Your Legacy, invites us to pause and reflect on the impact we want to create in work and in life. By focusing on gratitude, purpose, and daily habits, we will explore simple yet meaningful ways to start shaping the legacy we want to live today. But before we dive in, just a quick reminders. Please stay on mute unless you're speaking. This helps keep the audio clear for everyone. We'd love to see your smiling faces, so please turn your cameras on. Use the chat box to share your insights, reactions, questions, or reflections throughout the session. This session is being recorded, so you can revisit it later if needed. And most importantly, please, everyone, be present, be open, and take away what resonates with you. It's now my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Colleen Bowler, a former single mom who rebuilt her life with courage and purpose. Colleen leads with empathy, candor, and practical wisdom, reminding us that growth happens when we bring our whole selves to the table. Guided by her belief to keep it simple, keep it human, she helps others design businesses and lives they don't need a vacation from. After decades as a successful CFP and coach with the strategic coach, Colleen co-founded C&J Innovations LLC, transforming the business of money into the business of meaning. Through the Passport package, she empowers professionals to connect with more heart, clarity, and humanity, focusing on the true human side of success. Everyone, please join me in giving a very warm welcome to our wonderful speaker for today, Colleen.
Hello. How are y'all? I am so excited to be with you today. It sounds like another person that she was talking about. So I want to just do a little brief thing about where we're going today. I do have some notes, so you might see me look down at them because I want to make sure we cover everything. And we have 30 quick minutes to get it done. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. That may or may not be as lovely as what Anna said. We're going to talk a quick conversation about the pillars. We're going to look at habits because as I look at the 4 pillars, I think everything is woven together through habits. And then we are going to go to legacy. As Poonam said, it's probably one of the things that many of us have a hard time. We can figure out health, we can figure out relationships, career, but what does that legacy piece mean? And how can we integrate it into our lives today? Because I don't know about you, I don't like to wait. I'm very, let's get it done now. And along the way, my goal is for everyone on this call and everyone who listens later to take away 1 or 2 things that you can put into your life now. I am just amazed, and I thank Anna for putting this all together. And Sunny, there are very few business owners that allow and take the time for their teams to learn and to grow in all areas of your life, not just your career. So I just, it's just such a blessing. And I think, let's just say you watched 40 of those YouTubes or, 1 a week, and say you only did 40 weeks and you got 1 or 2 nuggets for each. At the end of the year, your life would be changed. I don't know how, but I know it would be. And so it's just such a rich thing that you're a part of. I just love it. So I'm going to share my screen, and please understand, I usually have a tech team, but it is 7:00 in Dallas and everybody is still, and it's Friday, everybody is still wherever they are. So I'm going maybe to be good at this and maybe not. So I'm going to share my screen a second, and I'm going to put up the first slide, and I am going to go back and forth because I love to see your faces. I'd love to be in the room and walking around with y'all. So we're talking about living your legacy. So we're going to look at that word legacy. And my my first thing is in the piece is founder story. And this person, can you see that person right there in that plaid dress? The second one from the top, that's me. These are my siblings. You may or may not recognize, but all the clothes that the girls have on are all handmade. I grew up with all these wonderful siblings and a wonderful family that my mom had this abundance mindset. And while we had powdered skim milk, does anybody know powdered milk? Has anybody had powdered milk? Has anybody had powdered milk when it wasn't made the night before and how bad that is? Yeah, I see some shakes of the head. Yeah, and day-old bread. I mean, that was abundance for us. I didn't realize we were poor until my dad died when I was 16, and we had $187 in the bank. There was no plan, there was no college fund, and no matter what currency we're in, I think $187, I think we'd all agree with, is not very much. But we had grit and we had resilience and we had a lot of love. And we got through it, and most of us became entrepreneurs because that was the way that we could make it work. And my mom became an entrepreneur as well. So we fast forward. Anna said a little bit about it. I was 27 years old. I had been in the middle of a divorce for a couple of years. I was granted sole custody of my son, and I got $50,000 of credit card debt that I didn't create. So this is at age 30. I got all this wonderful stuff, and I needed the flexibility as a single mom. And so someone said, "Hey, you're really good at math. Why don't you try this thing called financial services?" I made $14,000 the first year. I don't know, once again, in any currency, how a single mom and a little child can survive on 14K. It was a lot of help from a lot of people that did it. And 25 years later, 2020, I was working 50% time. I had an incredible team. I was making 7+ figures, and I sold that firm. I sold it because I realized the main thing that I loved was asking questions to people to figure out where they are and where they wanted to go and how could I create value. I had gotten involved with Strategic Coach, which I'm sure Sunny has told you a lot about. And I wanted to make a difference. So here is, let's go back to this and let's show you now. So here's now. I met my husband when our youngest sons were in college, and we now have a family with 4 adult kids and their partners and 6 grandkids. So we've come a long way. I've come a long way, and it is a good thing to know that all of us, wherever we are, if we commit to our habits and our goals, we can get there and surround ourselves with really, really good people. Really, really good people. So the 4 pillars. In the chat, which pillar is your favorite? Oops, I'm going to go back. Which pillar is your favorite? I need to see how can I find the chat? I'm going to stop sharing so I can see the chat. Anybody put in which one of the 4? You've got health, you have relationships, you have career, and now we have legacy that we're going to talk about. Relationships, health, health, health. Nobody's put career in there. I love it. Health, 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 relationships. Abby, you want to talk about health? What is it about that pillar that you really love? Where's Abby? Or do you want to talk? Where'd Abby go? She's like, no, I don't want to talk. Okay, who wants to talk about one of the pillars that they really like? Raise your hand and they'll open up your mic. Right? Can somebody? Yes? Can we take Poonam wants to talk. Poonam? Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Colleen. So for me, I think it's relationships because I think it's the bedrock of every other pillar that we have in our life, whether it's health, whether it's our relationship with ourselves. I think that's what it means. When it comes to career, it's our relationship with our employer, our professional circle. And when it comes to legacy, I think it's the relationships that we have with the larger community. Of course, family is also there. So near and dear ones, friends. So I think relationships for me is the most important pillar.
Yeah. And you know what? I love what you said, Poonam. You said relationship with myself. Oftentimes we forget that we need to put on our own oxygen mask first. Remember, when you get on a plane, put on your own oxygen mask first so you can help others. So many of us try to help others and be all things to all people, but and that's why exercise and that's why career and that's why legacy are also a part of it. So yeah, thank you for saying that. Okay, Abby's back. Hello, Abby.
Hi, Colleen. So yeah, I choose health because it's actually the foundation of everything else in life. Without good health, you'll not be able to perform well in work and life, build relationship with others. As we all know, health is wealth, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Health is wealth. Right. Does everybody know? Raise your hand if you know the saying BHAG, BHAG. Does everybody know that? Big, hairy, audacious goals. It's really hard to be present in life, to be present for family, to be present in your career if we don't have our health, right? And it's not just our health, it's members of our family as well. So that's great. Thanks, Abby. Anybody else? I love it. It's health and relationships. All right. So
Yes, we have Colleen. I think Manu also wanted to share. Go ahead, Manu.
Go ahead, Manu.
Yeah, health for me as well, as Abby mentioned. She actually I wanted to say the same thing, that it's the foundation of everything. You cannot be wealthy without being healthy. Yeah, I mean, you can't function, you can't be productive if you don't have good health.
Yeah, you're right. And we have a friend that is so engaged in health, and it's WELLTHY, being wealthy, right? It is having that wealth in the health. I love that. Thank you, Manu. Thank you. Okay, so with all of that, and I really appreciate y'all telling me your favorites. And I love that it's health and relationships, because they are. And career is important. Please understand, it's very hard. I've lived it, not having any money, because it's hard to be healthy. It's hard to be in relationship. It's hard to talk about legacy if bills aren't able to be paid, or if you're worried. And I've been worried. I was in the grocery store once, and I started sobbing, and the woman was like, why are you sobbing? And I'm like, I don't have enough money to buy laundry detergent and to buy food for my kid. I can't do it. And then fast forward 20 years later, I'm in the same store, and I start crying because I remember when I couldn't, right? So it is the way the pillars all go together, and that health and those relationships are so powerful. For me, and remember, this is me, I think all of these weave together through habits. So I'd love to have a conversation about habits, and then we're going to talk about agency. So I'm going to stop sharing again, and I'm going to read you the definition of habits: an automatic behavior acquired through repetition, right? Automatic behavior required through repetition. So everybody in the chat, tell me how much of your day do you believe you spend in habits? How much of your day? What percentage of your day? And then I'm going to tell you what the scientists say. How much of your day do you spend in your habits? That means like your morning habits of brushing your teeth or having coffee or tea or whatever. Okay, Hardy says 75%. Okay, who else? Come on. Let's see. Alaric says 50, 34, 80 to 90, 90, 50. Keep going. There's no wrong answer. 74, 40, 50. Yeah, so studies from Duke University here in the States and studies from Scientific America put how much of our day is in habits at 40 to 50%. 40 to 50%. That's what they say. I read another study recently that came out just recently and said more like 65%. So really, there's just so many things that that we do habitually to pay attention to. So where do you see, I talked about morning routine and maybe having coffee. Where do you see habits for yourself? Why don't either somebody open up and talk, or we can put it in the chat. Where do you see that you are in habits during your day? Other than like maybe driving to work. How many of you drive to work the same way every day? Oh, come on, raise your hands. Or do you do a different way every day? Or how you take the train or how you are on anything? Me, yeah, me. All right. What other things do you do every day that's habitual that you don't even have to think about? Okay, this is the audience participation part. You don't want to listen to me the whole time. Exercise. Oh, exercise. Taking your dogs for a walk. Yeah, Demi, some of that, it's not, sometimes that's just required. Talking to family, walking to work, doing both sometimes together. Absolutely. Cooking, drinking coffee, walking, drinking warm water first thing after waking up. Yes. That was one that Reagan talked about, right? Kritika, yeah, morning coffee. I love it that it's all in caps. Mom duties to kids, like a list I follow to make sure nothing is missed. Nada, that's so true. Going for a 3-kilometer run. Yes. Yeah, eating, morning routine, all those different things are all habits. And part of what the neuroscientists say, stretching, yeah, is that we need those habits in our lives so we can have space to be creative. We can have space. If we don't have to think about 50% of our day, then the rest of the day we can be really focused. We can bring in things from other places. We can be more curious, right? All those things. So with that, we're going to put in the chat again, what is the average time to create a new habit? Does anybody know? Average time, 21 days, 21 days, 21 days, 90 days, 21 days. Veronica, Addison, yeah. Yes. Okay, so Caleb, why do you say 90? Where's Caleb? Caleb's like, no, don't call on me. Okay, why do you say 90?
Because that's how long it takes me to make something a routine or a habit. So
Yeah. And you know what, Caleb, I think the scientists are going along with you on that one. Originally, it was like 21 days. I don't know if anybody's done anything for 21 days, but it's just 21 days, 90 days are infinity. Yeah, to infinity and beyond. Caleb's like right on track because it takes a while to integrate it into our beingness, right? Because we really have to allow space for those habits to come in. Now, I will tell you, thanks, Caleb, I appreciate that. I will tell you, and I'm going to have Kritika, if you'll write this down. Has anybody heard of Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg? Okay, BJ Fogg is a scientist out of Stanford. When I want to change or do something different, I try to go and read up a lot about it. There's a lot of books on habits, and I'm going to give you some in a minute. But BJ Fogg, Tiny Habits, yeah, Atomic Habits is a really good book as well, James Clear. What BJ Fogg says is if we want to change something, if we can attach that change that we want to make to a current habit, the possibility of it sticking is so much more. So let me give you an example. Hopefully we all brush our teeth in the morning, right? Brushing our teeth in the morning. That is a habit hopefully all of us do. One of the things I wanted to do was to increase my balance because as we age, balance gets harder and harder. So while I brush my teeth, I don't know that you can see, I stand on one leg and I don't know, can you see? And I do 50 leg lifts on the one side while I'm brushing my teeth. And then I turn on the other side. So it gives the full, too bad y'all can't see that example. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It gives that full 2 minutes of balance exercise that I would say, man, I really want to do it, but how can I fit it into my day? Who said coffee in the caps? Arunab, and I'm sorry if I got your name incorrectly.
No worries, Colin.
Yeah, the morning coffee, right?
Yeah.
So what's a habit that you would like to start doing? Do you have any that you would like to start, that you've been trying to start, that you've tried and failed to start?
I mean, I want to create a learning habit daily, but it's kind of not working out for me. So
a learning habit of,
at least an hour.
A learning habit of an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we put it down to 15 minutes to start? Because maybe an hour to begin with is too much. And what I'm going to suggest, what BJ Fogg says, if we attach it to your morning coffee, then the chance of you doing that. So you can either, which would be really hard for me. I couldn't wait an hour before I had my morning coffee. So I don't want to do that to you. But you could wait 15 minutes while your coffee's brewing and read a book or listen to a podcast or, watch something on the computer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
It is attaching to something you already do. And I'll give you a couple of examples. My sister and I were talking about this, and she's like, I have been trying to do push-ups. And so she got down and did push-ups. Don't tell her I said this, but she did 3 push-ups. And she says, I want to get to 75. And I'm like, oh, MJ, you're never getting to 75 if you can't put it into a routine. That wasn't very positive on my part. But I said, why don't you try this thing called Tiny Habits? Before you start your coffee, you start making your coffee, and then do 5 push-ups. And then maybe the next week you do 10. Maura does 75 push-ups now before she has her coffee. Right? She didn't start off doing 75 push-ups before she started her coffee because she couldn't wait that long. That was too much of a change in the habit, just like 1 hour before you have your coffee to do learning. So it is about something that you're currently doing. At the end of your day, all of you end your workday, right? Say yes. Just nod your head. Just nod your head. All of you end your workday. At the end of your workday, you could have a piece of paper next to your desk or a journal and write down 3 things positive that happened during the day. You know, it was a conversation with Addison, or you finished that project, or whatever, or you got up to go to the bathroom 5 times, whatever it is, those 3 positive things. And over time, you'll see that positivity just grow and grow and grow. Does that make sense? So it is attaching. When you go to the office in the morning, what are 3 things, no matter what, you want to get done? Or what are 3 things you're grateful for? Before you open that day, it's a way that you can create a tiny habit. Another book that I'll tell you about, you've said Atomic Habits, which I appreciate. Make Your Bed. Does anybody know Admiral William McRaven? Has anybody heard him? He's got a TED Talk, but he's also got a commencement exercise. He was the head of he was a Navy SEAL. He was the head of a Navy SEALs. He went on to be the president of Texas A&M University, which he could have easily retired. And he said, why? I have talent, energy. But he wrote a book called Make Your Bed. Make Your Bed. Because it is a tiny habit. Starting the day making your bed puts your mindset at things can go right during the day. Does that make sense? All right, I can see a lot of nods. All right, so the other book is The Coaching Habit. There's a podcast that's called The Habit Coach. So all kinds of different things coming in. So attach any of the changes. You look at habits, and we're going to continue about habits. When you look at them, attach that change you want to see with a current habit you already have. Any questions on that? Because this is really key. If this is all you take away today and you start helping yourself with whether it's the drinking the warm water right when you wake up, look at what other people have said, because they have already put in a lot of things for positive. Anything else? Anything else? Okay, so another little thing that we can go and talk about, we're going to talk about agency in a minute. What are some of the habits that are helping you create the life you want in any of the pillars? Like the one that's talking with their family, obviously that's a habit with the relationships. What are some of the habits that you're doing right now that are helping you create the life you want in any of the pillars? These are a couple quotes I love. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. We all can be excellent just by changing our habits. So very easy. Frederick Langbridge said, we are our own potters, for our habits make us, and then we make our habits. And Kelly Corrigan, when we talk about agency, she says, and this is in creating habits and in what we do in our day, maybe our greatest single act of agency is deciding what to feast on. And I want to expand your thought about feasting to reading. You had said about an hour of learning, food, conversations, music, art, right? We get to make that decision. We have agency on that. And that gets us to legacy. So what does legacy mean to you? No one had legacy as one of their favorite pillars. So tell me in the chat, what does legacy mean to you? In the essence of time, while you're putting some in, I'm going to say some of the things that others have said. One said control from the grave. The other said what people say when you die. Hardy's saying immortal projects. Another is what we inherit, what we remains after we're gone, what impact we've had. and the emotional and cultural weight that it carries, what you leave behind. All right, so our footprints. Yeah, so I am going to kind of go with that footprint thing. I love that because I'm going to share with you what I think is legacy. And my definition of legacy is don't watch what they say, watch what they do and who they are being. Don't watch what they say. It's watch their feet. Watch what they do and watch who they are being. With that definition, I want you to think of somebody we all know that we talk about legacy. And my switch on this mindset is we are all living our legacy. Yes, people say things about when we die. Yes, people, we give money to different things. Yeah. But the legacy that you have right now, you are creating and you are being. So I know someone we all know, and his name is Sonny. What is his legacy? What legacy is he living? Anybody, put it in the chat. I'm going to say generous spirit is one of them, right? He's allowing this life by design to happen. What else? When he walks in the room, is he like, I've always seen him walk in the room with just sun on his face, really sunny, right? His can-do attitude. He is living his legacy. 11x growth, enabling people, radiating positivity, life by design. Yeah, he is living his legacy. It is putting in place. We don't have to wait till we die for our legacy to happen, right? Life by design, not by default. That is what all of you are doing. And so I'd love for you to think about that pillar of legacy. Is why we talked about habits, is because the habits you are creating and living are your legacy. Who you are being is your legacy. How you are to each other is your legacy. Someone we know died and nobody wanted to do the eulogy because he was such a mean person. That was his legacy. He was a mean person in life, and he was a mean person. That's how people remembered him. How you are being is how people are remembering you now. If you're a lifelong learner, whatever that is. So my question to you today, and the real point of what we're doing, is why wait? Why wait? Why wait to live your legacy, right? Live it now. You are your legacy. Your feet, which I love that, is your legacy. So if everybody has a paper or you've got your computer, what are 3 actions you can do by year end to live your legacy? What are 3 actions you can do by year end to live your legacy? And then 3 actions you can do in 2026 to live your legacy. Raj says sharing, caring, open heart, thinking bigger, giving first, living by example. You have a long list. You do. Okay, pick 3. Pick 3 things for by the end of 2025. If you say, gosh, I was in this, life by design thing with Colleen, and I decided by the end of the year, so you've got 6 weeks. What are 3 things that really show you in your legacy that you want to have happen by year end? Anna, thanks for slowing me down a bit. I don't expect y'all to get all 6 of them, but I do hope you spend the time to figure out what it is you want to have happen. Dan Sullivan says this, you're going to put in the time anyway. You might as well make it a great life. And I believe we're all going to put in that time anyway till the end of the year. We might as well make it about what we want to have happen. And 2026 will be here before we know it. So what is it, if there were only 3 things we could really focus in on for 2026? And maybe one of them's habits, maybe one of them is gratitude rituals, meditation, whatever that is. So you create your legacy, that you are living your legacy, that anyone who knows you, you are a hero to yourself and to everyone around you. And I think that's really what legacy is all about. Anna?
Yes, all right. So thank you so much. First of all, guys, I think let's just, give some love together to Colleen, please. For that amazing session. I think thank you for leading today's session, and I think your insights and stories, the way you shared your story with all of us, I think it has truly inspired us to reflect on how we can live with more purpose, gratitude, and intention, both personally and professionally. And to everyone who joined us today, thank you for being present, engaged, and open to growth. We hope today's conversation helps you pause, reflect, and begin crafting a more meaningful path forward together. And if you have any questions, reflections, suggestions, ideas, please feel free to email us at lifebydesign@itbydesign at itbd.net. Sorry. And until next time, everyone, it's a Friday. I think everybody can
Happy
just
Friday.
be a little bit more energetic. I think, Colleen, you should have done some, I don't know, workout or I don't know what. Yeah, maybe something,
exercise
for that energy. Some exercise, definitely. Look at Colleen. Look at her energy, guys. All right. But until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and always remember to keep living a life by design and not by default. I'll see you all next Friday. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating and joining the session.
Bye. Thank you,
Colleen.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.